So you mentioned conservation, and I knew right away what we had to dive into.
Where are you?
Chapter 5
Okay.
of Conservation of Plants and Animals.
I like it.
It's not just a catchy title.
Right.
This is about,
Yeah.
all the factors that are impacting all the amazing life on this planet.
It's a huge topic.
It is a huge topic.
And it's urgent.
Yeah.
And it's not just about like pretty landscapes and cool animals.
Yeah.
It's about, understanding how all of this stuff is connected.
Right, like these ecosystems.
Yeah, exactly.
And then where do we fit in?
Yeah, what's our role in all of this?
What is our role?
Yeah.
And this chapter, doesn't mess around.
Okay.
It jumps right into it, talks about deforestation.
Right.
And it's not just that image we all have in our heads.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're just cutting down trees to make room for farmland.
Right. It's more than that.
It's more than that. It's like, our furniture,
Yeah.
construction, the paper we use, it's all connected.
It's true. And what's really interesting is how these like small decisions,
Right.
like, picking out a new couch,
Yeah.
can actually play a part in this global issue.
Wow.
Deforestation, it's not just about the trees, it's about everything
Right.
that depends on those forests.
It's all connected.
Yeah, it's like this intricate web of life.
Yeah, and you start pulling a thread on that sweater.
Exactly.
And the whole thing can unravel.
Exactly.
And our source material, it's interesting, it draws these direct lines from deforestation to
To like what?
reduced rainfall,
Oh, wow.
soil erosion.
Yeah. And it even impacts the water cycle too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So trees, they're really important for regulating rainfall.
Okay.
So when you remove them, it disrupts everything.
Wow.
And that leads to droughts in some areas
Yeah.
and then floods in others.
That's wild. And that's not even talking about
Yeah.
the impact on wildlife. I mean, we always hear about endangered species.
Right. Like
The tigers, the elephants. But this chapter, it really opened my eyes to the smaller creatures.
Oh, interesting.
The snakes, the bats, even insects.
Yeah, we forget about those sometimes.
We do.
But they're so important. They
Yeah.
play such a vital role.
Like what?
Well, like bats, for instance.
Okay.
They're incredibly important for pollination.
Oh.
So when their numbers go down,
Yeah.
it can have a ripple effect on the whole food chain.
It's like a domino effect.
Exactly.
One piece impacts the next.
It goes on and on.
It goes on and on.
Yeah.
And it all comes back to that balance.
That delicate balance.
Yeah, that delicate balance we were talking about.
Yeah.
And there was this one statistic about paper consumption.
Okay.
Really made me stop and think.
Okay. What was it?
It takes 17 fully grown trees
Wow.
to produce 1 ton of paper.
That's a lot of trees.
It's a lot of trees, and it puts it into perspective.
It does.
It connects our everyday actions to what's happening globally.
It shows the scale of it all.
Yeah.
And it makes you think about, what we can do differently.
Yeah.
Like finding other options, being mindful of what we're using.
Being a better consumer,
Exactly.
it's definitely a wake-up call.
Yeah.
But it also made me appreciate all the effort that goes into protecting
Protecting what?
these ecosystems.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
It's important work.
They're precious.
They are really precious.
So the chapter talks about protected areas,
Okay.
which makes sense.
Right.
Like you got to protect these plants and animals.
Yeah, safe havens.
Yeah, give them a place to be safe. But
What?
it's not just the national parks
Right.
and the wildlife sanctuaries.
It goes beyond that.
Yeah, it goes beyond that.
It's
Like there's this whole idea of biosphere reserves.
Oh, yeah.
Have you heard of these?
I have. They're pretty cool.
So they're not just protecting like one species.
Right.
They're protecting whole ecosystems.
The whole thing. The whole thing. Yeah. And they use this example in the chapter.
Okay.
The Pachmari Biosphere Reserve.
Where's that?
It's in India.
Oh, cool.
And it really, I don't know, it makes it real.
What do you mean?
Like, it's not just some abstract concept. It's like,
Uh-huh.
no, this is a place where they're doing this.
It's happening.
It's happening. And it's not just about
Yeah.
protecting like a little zone. It's about
Yeah.
recognizing that everything's connected in that space.
It is. It's all interconnected.
Yeah. And there are these amazing creatures there,
Oh, yeah. Like what?
like the giant squirrel.
A giant squirrel, really?
Yeah, they mention it in the chapter.
Wow. I've never even heard of that.
And it's endemic to that region,
Endemic meaning?
meaning it's only found there.
Oh, wow.
Like, that's it.
If something happens to that area,
That's it. They're gone.
they're gone. Wow.
Yeah, and it just,
It makes you realize.
I know how fragile this stuff is.
Yeah, it really
Like,
is.
we can't just assume that if one place gets messed up, they'll just go somewhere else.
Right. They can't just pick up and move.
It doesn't work that way.
No, not at all. And it makes you think about, like,
About?
The role of zoos.
Oh, interesting.
Like, are we helping or hurting?
Yeah, it's a tough one.
It is. It's a really complex issue.
Right. Like you think about those class trips to the zoo.
I know. I loved going to the zoo as a kid.
But now it's like,
yeah,
are we isolating them?
You're taking them out of their element?
Taking them out of their element?
Yeah.
But then again, they're playing a role in...
In what?
Conservation efforts.
Right. The breeding program.
Yeah, the breeding programs and just...
Raising awareness.
Yeah, making people aware that these animals exist.
Right. Because if you don't see it,
yeah,
you don't think about it.
How to set out of mind.
Exactly.
But I don't know.
It's tough.
It's a tough one. And then
what?
The chapter kind of shifts gears.
Oh, okay.
And starts talking about solutions.
Okay, good.
And one of them is reforestation.
Right. So it's not enough to just...
Stop cutting down trees.
Exactly. We have to plant new ones.
We have to plant new ones.
Yeah.
But it's not just sticking a seedling in the ground.
It's not that simple.
It's not that simple.
It's more complicated.
They talk about this idea of natural reforestation.
Oh, interesting.
So what's that all about?
Well, it's about understanding the ecosystem and giving it the space to recover.
So left human intervention?
Exactly. Let nature do its thing.
It's like we keep saying, it's all connected.
It really is.
And speaking of connected, there's this thing called the Red Data Book.
Oh, yeah, the Red Data Book.
What is that?
It's like, imagine a global watch list for plants and animals.
So all the endangered species?
Exactly. It's got all the info
on
their populations, the threats they're facing.
So it's like a tool for...
Oh, yeah. It's essential for conservationists.
So they can...
It helps them prioritize.
Right, where to focus.
Exactly, because you got to put the resources where they're needed most.
That makes sense. And it's global.
It is. It's a global effort.
So they're all working together.
Yeah, international collaboration.
That's huge.
It is, because this isn't just about protecting land. It's about research, monitoring, adapting as you go.
Right, because things change.
They do, constantly.
And sometimes nature throws you a curveball.
Oh, yeah.
Like this whole thing with the migratory birds.
Oh, yeah, the migratory birds.
It just blows my mind.
What is it about them that gets you?
The distances. I mean, thousands of miles.
I know. It's incredible.
Cross continents, oceans, all for...
breeding, finding food.
It's wild.
It shows you how resilient nature is.
It does.
But it also, highlights the challenges.
Yeah.
Because something that happens over here can affect something way over there.
It's all connected.
Exactly.
Which brings us back to,
To what?
What can we do?
The big question.
Because it's easy to feel overwhelmed by all of this.
I get it. It's a lot.
It is. So where do we even start?
Start small.
Okay.
Remember that paper thing we were talking about?
17 trees.
Yeah. So maybe choose recycled paper.
Okay.
Reduce your paper use in general.
Little things like that.
Exactly. Every little bit helps.
Right. Like it all adds up.
It does. And support companies that are doing things the right way.
Yeah, the sustainable ones.
Exactly. And be a mindful consumer in general.
Right. Think about your impact.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to speak up.
Oh, you mean like...
advocate for change, talk to people.
In our community.
Yeah, make your voice heard.
It's about recognizing we're all in this together.
We are, every single one of us.
And I think this chapter does a really good job of showing that.
Showing what?
Like, it's not just about the ecological stuff.
Right.
It's about the culture, too.
Oh, absolutely. Think about all those indigenous communities.
Right? Living in harmony with nature.
For centuries, they have so much knowledge.
And we can learn from that.
We can. We should.
It's about respecting those traditions.
Because it's all connected.
It is. It really is.
Protecting nature means protecting ourselves.
I think that's a good place to wrap it up.
Yeah, I agree.
This has been, I don't know, really eye-opening.
Yeah, me too.
We've covered so much ground.
From deforestation to biosphere reserves.
And all the people out there.
Yeah, the ones working so hard to protect this planet.
They're the real heroes.
They are.
So, as we wrap up this deep dive, I have a question for you.
Okay, shoot.
If you could create your own conservation project, what would it be?
Ooh, good question.
What speaks to your heart? What do you want to see change in this world?
I love that.
Because even a small idea, it can turn into something amazing.
It can. It really can. Never underestimate that.
Well said.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of conservation.
It's been a pleasure.
We hope you learned something new today.
And we hope you'll join us again
for another deep dive
into another fascinating topic.
Until then, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep caring for this incredible planet of ours.
See you next time.